Very good. Then without further ado, Dominic, the stage is yours.
Okay, cool. I mean, I'm gonna start presenting my screen straight away. I guess some of you already seen that idea that I had some time ago, and I've actually proof of concept it last week. But okay, desktop one. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, but the resolution is very high. Maybe you can zoom in a little bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm gonna minify this and remove that. Cool. So I had this struggle for quite some time working on the graph panel and making loads of edits to the panel and going back and forth to edit mode and to the dashboard to see the results. So a few months ago, I had an idea that maybe we could simplify the workflow for the panel edit, and instead of encouraging people to go directly to the edit mode to alter the visualization or the field option settings, they could do it straight away from the dashboard. This is primarily use case where you don't need to modify the queries. You just want to modify the look and feel of your visualization. So I came up with an idea of what I initially call quick actions. And it's basically inline panel edit mode on the dashboard. So the current implementation that I have works the way that it's not the quick edits are not available from the menu, but in order to get those, you need to hover over a panel that you are interested in and press Q. And then you got this overlay popping up on the right-hand side that you can actually start modifying the look and feel of your visualization. Pretty much currently, the things that are listed here are field options settings only, and that's only because Torkel is reworking the panel edit experience a little bit and the organization of the options, and I didn't want it to interrupt that work, so I've only picked the field option settings. So you can easily modify whatever you want straight away from the dashboard when it comes to the aesthetics of the graph. Graph or any other panel. Actually, it doesn't. It's just about panels, not about the graph. So this is a working proof of concept. And pretty much that's it. What I wanted to get a feedback on, or your kind of a gut feeling about if it makes sense, if it's something that we could consider for 8.0 or maybe not, etc. And I've also added one more feature just as a matter of experimentation, and it has this unfortunate icon of a brush, but I couldn't find any better icon in the Unicorns collection. So when you click this button, pick settings, you can actually inspect any panel, maybe not inspect, but highlight any panel on the dashboard. And basically, when you choose that panel, those settings are applied to the panel that you're actually quick editing. So that's kind of a nice thing that could help making your dashboards look similar, and this also making your panels look similar. And this all of this peak settings functionality applies only to the panel options and field options, so the queries persist the same as they were before. Yeah, pretty much that's it. Any feedback, any ideas, any thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever?
I think it's
Maybe
awesome. Sorry.
Go on.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely fantastic. But I also feel that the feedback we can give is somewhat limited. I think this type of a feature is actually a perfect thing to show to users and get their feedback on it. And that can be like quite easily done. If you like record a demo, we can publish on Slack, maybe we can tweet it and just get comments from people, because the real question is how people will work with it. I think quick access to it is great because you already see a need for it. The question really is, should this be tweaked in any way to accommodate needs of our users?
Mm-hmm. Cool. That's a great idea. Actually, I have a recording already in the PR, and some of you already saw that. So I can easily share that on the Slack, public Slack channel, and maybe on Twitter, and then see if there's any response for that.
So what I wanted to say is that I wish it was easier to discover it, because I think like this shortcut, it's very like you have to know about it. So I wouldn't even mind to have it in the drop down. I think it's extremely useful. And the pick settings is the feature that when I was editing my dashboards and panels, I was definitely missing, because I changed one thing and I had to go to edit mode all the time and change it there. So I think the pick setting is this is great. Pick settings is marvelous. And yeah, so that's all.
Also, I completely agree there. Sorry, Ivana.
Maybe, and I'm not sure, I for sure don't have an answer for this, but I'm just thinking if something like this wouldn't be helpful also for Explore to have just like a limited set of settings that you could change, because I could see that people are, for example, requesting to have connected graph, not connected, like these little changes that you could like ad hoc change, but that's different feature. Just thinking that this kind of implementation could be useful as well there, maybe.
So I really like the pick settings, except I don't like the name. It's you basically.
I don't like it neither.
Yeah, you basically made a format painter for graphs, which is great. So something like duplicate settings or duplicate. I don't know. Yeah, because you're really duplicating or copying settings, but we don't want to call it copy because then you assume that things will get copied to the clipboard or something.
Yeah,
and
I was thinking clone, but
oh yes, that's even better.
Clones, yeah.
Yeah, clone settings, that works really well. But this setting also reminds me of what the guy at the UX community call was talking about when he was saying, could we please have a way to have default settings for panels? Dashboard. I mean, this is kind of for panels, like to have default settings that you set for all your graph panels somewhere, and then you overwrite it locally.
Oh, okay.
And so this is kind of trying to do the same thing, and might be is probably an easier thing to create than preferences for visualizations. But just wanted to call out that there are two ways of going at the I want all my graphs to have the same settings problem.
I think this thing came up a couple of times before, not only from the community calls, but I think we also had this like a short discussion about that internally, that it would be awesome to have basically like I don't know, organization-wise settings for look and feel of your visualizations, pretty much. But this is a shortcut for myself to kind of have consistent graph without that functionality.
That's how great things start.
That's great,
Dominic. Yeah, there are some other comments in the comment section in the doc. David, you have a comment.
Yeah, thank you. So I think the strength of the popover is that you can still see the other panels while editing, right? So other than that, it's sort of just another. Other than that, it's just similar to the editing mode, right? To the normal editing mode. If you're showing the full set. So I wonder if that's if that is not maybe leading to the use case here, so that you're sort of looking to harmonize the styles, and then I think it makes sense. Like a different angle is actually trying to figure out if there is just a subset of the settings that people like to choose with this sort of quick selection. So maybe that can be optimized somehow, and maybe We can go the way that Diana was suggesting, that maybe we just run a bit of user research, or we already know what people like to edit most often, right? So then maybe we use that and then just wait for people to say, but can I also do this? And then we do that in later ones.
That's a great feedback, David. Actually, I was thinking about having an option when you actually specify your panel, which options would be available within the quick edits. So not the full set is there, pretty much. Ideally, it would be to get that information based on the user behaviors and kind of adjust that dynamically. But yeah, that's a different story.
I'm also thinking maybe as long as we don't have those insights yet, at least once we have that feature implemented, we could just start the popover quick settings with a search and try to get the data of what people search there the most. And there we could get quantitative feedback on which features people want to tweak the most.
I definitely wait for if we settle on the decision on how the new panel edit will look like with the search, etc., and then we could actually align how this one looks like. Sorry, Torkel, it's your turn.
No, but I think there's definitely a lot of really good ideas here, and there is an obvious parallel as well to an old feature that does exist in the old graph panel, and I think people have requested more. So currently in the old graph panel, you can toggle the legend on and off through the panel menu. So it's a bit. So if you go back to dashboard now and hit the panel menu and then more, you can toggle the legend. And this is actually something. This is actually something that old Angular panels could add custom actions there.
That sounds good.
So there's kind of an overlap, and this is a very frequent thing that people want to do. They want to disable legend and have it just kind of be an option, an opt-in thing that they want to have. Not always, because legends can take a lot of room. Specifically, if you go into view mode, I think this is also kind of, if you go to a full screen mode, it would be interesting to be able to sort of. This is sort of like going into edit mode then, but because then you have more space to show a legend, for example, if you have a lot of series. But
I don't want to interrupt, but Dominic's time is over.
Yeah, but there was also Anna comment.
Yeah, quick one. I would like to understand better which panel is on focus. So for which are we opening the quick actions? And
I have like two tiny ones as well. It's kind of the same manner as Anna. So like the height and the size of this overlay could be tweaked a bit. There's a ton of scrolling.
Absolutely.
And so I get that this is just a prototype. And then the other thing is, and it's not to you, Dominic, but I remember we talked about making input fields not so wide. And probably we need to revisit, because I can see that they are still super wide. But that's just a tiny thing. So yeah. So sounds like something you can pair up with designer on, Dominic?
I would suggest
definitely
to also maybe, and we can do this as a design team, to spend some time on keyboard shortcuts and how to make them more visible or aware for people to know that we have those, as well as panel options, which are not very visible, right, when you just land. But that's what we can tackle separately.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.